There was once a spiteful old wizard. He was learned and cruel, the author of many dreadful spells. On the eve of All Ghouls' Day, when the moon was full, he completed his most fiendish work, a mirror. Change the good and fair you will behold, and make it sad and selfish, ill and cold. Two young sprites stole the mirror to play tricks on good people. But they dropped it, and it shattered. One splinter found its way onto the Snow Queen's wand. Our tale now moves to a town where we find a boy and girl who were as close can be. They loved each other like brother and sister. The girl was called Doris, and the boy was called Kay. One day, in the middle of winter, they went to slide on the ice. They did not notice a sledge draw up with a lady inside.
Come with me, Kay.
This was the Snow Queen, whose wand now had the power to put a splinter of that wicked mirror into any heart it touched. She touched Kay with her wand, led him to her sledge, and whisked him away. Kay had still not returned by spring, so Doris put on her boots and went to look for him. Doris walked till she came to a river.
Tell me, River, have you seen my friend?
The river seemed to nod, and a boat appeared. So Doris climbed in and set off downstream in search of Kay. The boat took Doris to the shore, where there was a wonderful garden.
Maybe Kay is somewhere here.
All the flowers in the garden were tireless storytellers, and each one loved telling his own stories much more than listening.
Has anyone seen Kay?
But no one heard her. Doris left the garden. Up flew a great big crow.
Gaw! Gaw! Where are you off to, my lovely?
I'm looking for my dear Kay. Have you seen him?
Methinks I saw him with a fair princess.
With a princess? He has a princess. He may not need me, but I still have to be sure. Help me find him, Mr. Crow.
Their journey took them through a deep, dark cave. It was a scary place for one little girl and a crow. Mr. Crow did not like to say, but though he knew lots of long words, he was really very afraid of the dark. Doris was afraid too, but she fought her fear out of love for Kay, and Mr. Crow flew away. The cave came out in the kitchen of a royal castle. There was nobody there except a fat cat finishing his meal. Doris found the door and went in search of Kay. Doris wandered into the armory. There seemed to be no end to the labyrinth of rooms.
What a huge castle!
Kay was nowhere to be seen, and anyway, this was no place for a little girl, even a brave one like Doris. Next, Doris found the library. There were hundreds of interesting books to read, but she had to find Kay. Doris entered a bedroom where two people were sleeping. She thought one of them might be Kay, so she woke them up. What is going on? They both climbed out of bed to see who their visitor was. When Doris saw that it was a prince and princess, and that neither of them was Kay, she lost all hope and began to cry.
Not Kay.
What is wrong?
Doris told them, and they tried to comfort her. The prince and princess were very kind to Doris. Goodbye, Doris. Take care. They looked after her and lent her a magnificent golden coach to help her on her journey in her search for Kay. The coach drove through a forest where robbers lived. They saw the magnificent golden coach and they simply could not resist.
Gold! Gold! Let's get it!
And they took Doris prisoner and stole the coach.
Ha! Now I have someone to play with.
It was the daughter of one of the robbers. She was so happy to see Doris.
I can't stop and play. I have to find my friend.
And Doris explained everything.
Then you must go. My reindeer will help you find the Snow Queen's palace. Go!
Doris rode for a long time, till she came to the north. She found a small cottage, but nobody home. The Laplander who lived there came in. She was a very kind lady.
Ah, you poor thing.
She gave Doris something to drink, and Doris told her all about Kay. The Laplander had no paper, so she wrote a letter of introduction on a dried fish and sent Doris to the wise old Finnish woman. The wise old Finnish woman was smoking her pipe by the fire. Doris wondered if the wise old Finnish woman was asleep.
Maybe she always sleeps when she smokes her pipe.
Doris crept up and took the pipe out of her mouth, and the wise old Finnish woman woke up.
Oh, what do you want?
I've come from the Laplander.
Doris showed her the fish.
You should go further by yourself. I can't make you stronger than you are. Your strength is in your heart.
At long, long last, after much travelling and searching, Doris came to the palace of the Snow Queen.
Oh, how beautiful! I've never seen such a magnificent palace, even in picture books.
Doris felt that this was where her love for Kay would be tested. Kay was white from cold, but he did not care. The Snow Queen had ordered him to make a word out of broken bits of ice on the floor, and he could think of nothing else.
Kay, my dear Kay, at last I found you.
At first, Kay did not look up, but at last, the love of Doris' heart overcame the work of the splinter of the mirror the Snow Queen had put in his heart.
Doris, how glad I am to see you.
The children no longer had anything to fear from the Snow Queen, for their love had been tested and been found to be true.
Once upon a time, there lived a rich merchant who had a beautiful daughter. She was so beautiful that people simply called her Beauty. On the day our story begins, the merchant was preparing for a long journey.
Don't be sad, Beauty. I shall soon return with a pile of presents for my sweet child.
Oh, Papa, I really need nothing. But take this rose with you for luck and bring me, if you will, an even more beautiful one. More beautiful than any other in the world.
When the merchant had completed his business affairs, he set off in search of the gift for his daughter. He sailed to a small island where a lone savage lived.
Do you have a red rose?
But the savage only had stone statues, bones, and palm trees. So the merchant exchanged some beads for a statue and sailed on in search of the gift for his daughter. And so the merchant arrived in India, where he saw an ancient temple covered in vines, and among the vines a great stone idol. He sailed a little closer and told the idol about his daughter's request. Suddenly, it seemed to him that the idol shifted slightly.
Oh, what was that?
No sooner had he pulled out his spectacles to get a better look than something snatched them away, leaving a banana in their place. The merchant could see that he was not going to find a beautiful rose in India, so he left that land as quickly as he could and sailed on in search of the present he had promised to bring his beloved daughter.
Jawohl! Oh, mein lieber Augustin, 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 oh, mein lieber Augustin, komm zu mir schnell. Oh, mein lieber Augustin, Augustin, Augustin. Mein Süppchen, ho ho!
The merchant sailed across many seas until he came to Europe, where he met a master watchmaker.
Hail, Master Watchmaker! I'm in search of a red rose. I can offer the rarest of tools in exchange.
Mein Herr, I am afraid I am unable to help you. I have spent my whole life working with clocks mechanisms and have never seen even one rose. The merchant could see that he would never find a beautiful rose in Europe. He sailed away in search of the present for his daughter. And so the merchant sailed further and found himself in the cold, frozen north, floating among the icebergs.
Oh, what a big canoe!
Ahoy there, fellow! Can I find a red rose in these parts? I can trade you a hat.
Oh, what a comfy hat!
Do you have a rose?
Roses don't grow here. Look at the weather. I can give you a walrus, though.
But the merchant didn't need a walrus. It was as plain as day that he would never find a rose in the cold, frozen north, so he sailed further in search of the gift he had promised his beloved daughter. He sailed, and by he saw upon a rock a bright red rose of unimaginable beauty.
At long last I can go home and embrace my beloved daughter.
And the merchant was about to leave when he was stopped by a fearsome beast. You tried to take my rose, and so you shall perish. The merchant was terrified.
I didn't know it was your rose. Here, take it. Take the lot. Take all that I have, my breeches, my boots.
But the lord of the island did not care for the merchant's breeches or boots, and was about to kill him when he caught sight of a portrait of Beauty. Oh, I will let you go if you give me your word to send your daughter to me. I promise I will in no way offend her. The merchant had no choice, and so he gave his word, and with a heavy heart set off on a long journey home. And so poor Beauty had to sail to the island. She climbed up the stone steps and wandered about the castle. She walked for a long time through the halls and corridors, and when the beast appeared, Beauty was terrified. Oh, I will not keep you against your will. Go home to your father. With that, Beauty turned into a white dove and flew away. The beast was heartbroken. He thought he would never again see such a beautiful maiden. He hugged her portrait to him and sighed a deep, sorrowful sigh. Beauty flew to her father's house.
Papa!
The merchant was overjoyed to see his daughter again.
Oh, my own dear Beauty, my own sweet one.
At that moment, the house magically filled with the most exquisite presents from the lord of that gloomy isle. Beauty remembered how sad the beast had been when he let her go, and how gentle he had seemed. She wished with all her might to return to the island and see the beast. No sooner had she done so than she turned into a white dove again and flew away. When Beauty returned, she saw the beast. He had given up all hope of a happy life and was dying for love of her. He was sinking lower and lower, but he didn't care. Nothing mattered to him anymore.
Please don't die. I don't care if you are a beast. I know I shall always love you.
And she kissed the beast, and then a miracle took place. The prince told Beauty his story.
Many years ago, an evil witch turned me into a beast and said that the spell might be broken only by the true love of a beautiful maiden. Your love has saved me, Beauty.
And they lived happily ever after.
Once upon a time, there lived a woodcutter and his wife, who had 5 children, all boys. The young Once upon a time, there lived a woodcutter and his wife, who had 5 children, all boys. The youngest one was very little, which is why he was called Little Tom Thumb. And one day, when they could stand it no more, because they were really very poor, the woodcutter told his wife,
"We have to take them to the forest and leave them there. I can't afford to feed them no longer, and they'll find their happiness there. The witch told us they'll be rich, so we don't need to worry."
And though his heart was heavy with sorrow, he convinced his wife, and when his parents fell asleep, Little Tom Thumb woke up and went outside and filled his pockets with little white pebbles.
These'll help us find our way back home, even in the darkest forest.
With the first rays of the sun, the woodcutter woke his children and led them out into the forest.
Dad, why are you so sad?
Yeah, Dad, something wrong?
Only Little Tom Thumb knew why his father was so sad. Of course, Little Tom Thumb took out the white pebbles and threw them onto the road. He really didn't want to live all his life in this forest.
"This is the very deepest part of the forest,"
thought the woodcutter.
"Come on, children, and don't forget we need a lot of branches."
The children were so busy that they didn't notice that they had lost sight of their father. At that very moment, the ogre's daughters were enjoying some fresh air.
Hey, look at it. What's that? Maybe we'll need those things.
They loved the little white pebbles. The sisters decided to pick them up. The woodcutter was almost home.
"Oh, look, we've made it. This is our little house."
Don't be afraid, brothers. I'll take you home again.
Daddy, where are you? Come on, pal, where are you?
I just can't believe it. I'm sure they were here.
Thought Little Tom Thumb, but he didn't find his pebbles. For a long time, Little Tom Thumb tried to find his way home. He only realized toward evening that they were lost.
It's all right. Let's keep moving.
They walked a whole night, a whole day, and another night. They could not get out of the forest. Little Tom Thumb climbed up to the top of a tree. He saw a house where a light was burning.
Yes, we're saved.
Hey, look at this. It's true. We're saved. Thank you, brother. We'd have died in this forest without you.
Come on, let's run away.
To be honest, this wasn't the most friendly house.
Ha, my poor little dears. You don't know the place you've come to. This is the house of an orc. Eat, eat, my dears. Meanwhile, I'm looking for a safe place for hiding you.
But unfortunately, the ogre came back earlier than usual that evening.
Hide! Come on, hide!
The ogre smelt the children, even from outside.
Look at all these children. Lucky for you, I've already eaten. But you'll be my breakfast.
The ogre decided to eat only one cow's leg, because he knew that eating too much before bed was bad.
Go to bed, my dears. I'll wake you up early tomorrow morning, and you'll run away.
She put them in the bedroom with the little ogresses. The children were so tired that they fell asleep as soon as their heads touched the pillow. But little Tom Thumb could not close his eyes. He was made like that.
What if he can't go to sleep and he wants to keep eating?
Little Tom Thumb got up and softly placed his own cap and those of his brothers on the heads of the ogresses. The ogre couldn't sleep. He wanted his breakfast.
I'll take them to my larder. That'll be better.
And it worked. In the darkness, as he felt the little boys' caps, he took his own daughters away. And when he realized his mistake, the brothers were already far, far away. The ogre was furious.
No one ever escapes from me.
He put on his boots and ran after them.
Oh, you'll see. I'll catch you. Now, you're here somewhere. You can't escape from me. Can't escape.
We're nearly home. But the ogre... Come on, brothers, let's hide right here.
Now the ogre was feeling very tired, for his boots were very heavy and he needed to take a rest. He sat down on the very rock beneath which the little boys were hiding. Little Tom Thumb now approached the boots and put them on.
Run home at once. I'll be back soon.
The father and mother were very sad. They could find no excuse.
Poor children.
Oh, my dear's back. But where is little Tom Thumb?
I'm here, and look at this.
How happy the parents were to have their children back home safe and sound. Little Tom Thumb was now a royal courier, and the woodcutter's family lived comfortably and well. Many years have passed, but everybody remembers the story of little Tom Thumb. A soldier came marching along the high road.
Left, right, left, right.
He had his knapsack on his back and a sword at his side. He had been to the wars and was now returning home.
Left, right.
As he walked, he met a very frightful-looking old witch on the road.
Good evening, soldier.
Hello, old witch.
You're a real soldier, so you can let yourself down into the tree to a great depth and get as much money as ever you like. Do you hear me? Don't forget my tinderbox.
So the soldier went down into the large hall. He took an old tinderbox and 3 enormous dogs appeared behind him. There were also big chests full of golden coins.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Look at all this gold.
Oh, yes. It was enough to buy all the sugar sticks, tin soldiers, whips, and rocking horses in the world.
I have a tinderbox, old witch.
So give it to me, and I want your money too.
Oh, yes? Then I'll draw my sword and cut off your head.
And although she was a witch, she could do nothing against such a brave soldier. So he went on his way with the tinderbox and the money.
So the soldier walked off to the nearest town. But now his pockets, his knapsack, his cap and his boots were full of gold.
I'll put up at the best inn and order a dinner of all my favourite dishes. Yes, now I'm rich. I'm rich. What a lovely town,
thought our soldier.
I'll be the most famous of them all. I'll go to the theatre and have a walk in the king's garden.
Our soldier was a good-hearted man. He wanted to share his happiness with everybody because he remembered what it was like to be without a penny. People told him about the greatest places to see in this town, and about the king, and about his beautiful daughter, the princess.
The princess! The princess is coming!
Here she is! Hurrah!
Where can I see her?
She's nowhere to be seen. She lives in a large copper castle, surrounded by walls and towers. No one but the king himself can pass in or out.
There has been a prophecy that she will marry a common soldier, and the king cannot bear to think of such a marriage.
He was rich now, had fine clothes, and many friends.
You're a fine fellow.
Yes, a real gentleman.
But his money would not last forever.
Come on, my dear friend.
And he spent it all and gave away a great deal, until at last he found himself with only 2 shillings. So he was obliged to live in a little garret under the roof. None of his friends came to see him. There were too many stairs to climb. One dark evening, he had not even a penny to buy a candle. Then he remembered the tinderbox. No sooner had he opened it than the dogs from the tree stood before him.
It's already dark outside, yet I should very much like to see the princess.
Before the soldier could even look round, the dog returned with the princess.
Help! Anybody! Help!
But the old lady ran after him as quickly as she could.
You're looking for the princess, my dear. She's right there. You see the staircase? Go on this way, and then you'll see the princess. Meow.
She found the princess only because the old witch helped her. The soldier was so in love with the princess that he was ready to become a prince in order to marry her.
How, you hooligan!
Everybody at the king's castle already knew that the princess had disappeared. The king himself was looking for her.
She's nowhere to be seen, Your Highness.
Follow me. I know where she is.
Follow her. Let's go.
The king was a very clever man. He could do a great deal more than merely ride in a carriage.
Only a real prince can marry a princess.
And he wrote a new law. And with this new law, the soldier was taken up and put in prison.
Tomorrow you will be hanged.
How sad and dark it was in prison. The soldier had left the tinderbox at the inn.
Hey, princess, listen. Fetch my tinderbox, okay?
You'd better think about your soul. Come with us.
This soldier is to be hanged now. You may have a last request.
The princess was already back with the tinderbox because she was in love with the soldier. The soldier took the tinderbox, and there in a moment stood all the dogs.
Come on, chaps, it's okay. Let them go.
The king and his subjects ran away. Only the princess was not afraid, but she was never afraid of anything. The soldier, of course, married the princess.
I've always dreamt about discovering the world.
But they had to run away because the king was furious.
Sit yourself comfortably, my little friend, and I will tell you the tale of Thumbelina. Long, long ago, in a house on the edge of a village, there lived a kind woman who had no children. She so wanted a child. When it seemed that all hope was lost, she decided to go and see a witch.
Hubble, bubble, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Help me, I so want to have a child. Why should I not help you, my child? Here is a grain of barley, but do not be deceived, for that is not all. Just plant it and you will see.
The woman did everything the witch told her to do, and sometime later a great magical flower sprung up, and, miracle of miracles, the flower opened, revealing the tiniest little girl you have ever seen, no more than 1 inch high.
I always so dreamt of a girl. I shall call you Thumbelina.
Thumbelina's cradle was made from a walnut, and her blanket was a rose petal. She slept in the cradle, and in the daytime she played on the table. Now one day, the biggest, ugliest toad you ever saw wandered through the window and hopped right onto the table. What a fine bride for my son! The toad carried Thumbelina in the walnut down to the river and left her on a broad water lily so that she could not escape. Thumbelina was very afraid, but she was even more frightened when she saw her ugly husband-to-be. Ribbit! Ribbit! These were the only words that uncouth young toad could muster to greet his intended bride. A noble butterfly, who happened to be fluttering by, caught sight of poor Thumbelina. He caught her by the hand and saved her from those terrible, terrible toads. The shore of the river was sweet with the smell of flowers. The butterfly turned round for just a moment to pick one for Thumbelina, but she was so beautiful that a Maybug took a liking to her and stole her away. The Maybug took Thumbelina to his favourite romantic spot. He recited half a poem he knew and picked her a flower and offered her his heart and soul with no more ado. Then other beetles flew up.
Look at those legs, only two.
And their waist is too slim.
And their whiskers.
Hey! The Maybug decided they were right and got rid of poor Thumbelina. Thumbelina lived the whole summer long all on her own in the woods. She plaited herself a bed and ate sweet pollen and drank dew. By and by, the autumn came and the rains fell, and Thumbelina had to leave her leafy summer home. Thumbelina had wandered for a very long time, when at length she came across a poor swallow freezing to death in a wheat field.
Poor little bird. You can't fly away to warmer climes, and you will perish here, just like I will.
Thumbelina covered the swallow with big leaves, hoping it would get warm and be able to fly away. A field mouse, which lived in a neighbouring burrow, saw the girl.
You are cold, my dear. Come into my burrow. You can warm yourself and have a bite to eat.
And so Thumbelina found herself in the field mouse's burrow. Before she had time to eat or even warm herself, the field mouse's neighbour, Mr. Mole, came to visit. Thumbelina had to sing and dance for him, and though Mr. Mole had no time for the sun or flowers, to say nothing of birds, he took a great liking to Thumbelina. Thumbelina stole away from the field mouse's burrow every day and went to see the swallow. She brought him fresh water and wheat grain and spoke words of kindness to him.
Dear swallow, I do so hope the kind golden sunshine will come out and warm you so you can leave this cold, cold land.
One day, the fat old mole declared he wanted to marry Thumbelina. Poor Thumbelina did not want to marry dull Mr. Mole and live deep underground. However, the field mouse insisted, and Mr. Mole would not be moved. So Thumbelina begged for leave to look one last time at the sun and her own dear, dear swallow. Oh, what fortune! The sun had come out and warmed the swallow, and he was completely better, and flying through the sky as well as ever before.
Thumbelina, Thumbelina, leave this cold and cruel land. Sit on my back and we will fly far, far away. Come away with me, my sweet, come away.
Thumbelina jumped up onto the swallow's back without a second thought, and they flew off together into the deep blue sky and out of the reach of dull Mr. Mole. The swallow flew like the wind over dark forests and high mountains straight to the deep blue sea, to where the sun is kind and the sky is clear and beautiful flowers are forever in bloom. The swallow landed among the most beautiful flowers.
This is where I live. You will be happy here.
Now it so happened that the ruler of this land was a handsome elfin prince. He was struck by Thumbelina's beauty and fell madly in love with her. Be my bride and queen of all the flowers.
Oh, yes, with all my heart.
Now there's a proper bridegroom, not like Toad's ugly son, or the fat Mr. Mole, or even the gallant Mr. Maybug. The elves were all as happy as can be, and they shouted for joy and clapped and danced and cheered and sang. At long, long last, they had a real queen.
In the ocean deep, the water is as blue as sapphire and as clear as glass. Here lives the Sea King. Many years ago, he had 6 little mermaid daughters. All his daughters were very pretty and noble, but the very best of all was the youngest. More than anything, she loved to hear stories about humans, and as soon as she was old enough, she got her father's permission to swim to the surface. The sun was setting, and the clouds were all purple and gold.
Oh, what is that?
Not far from where the Little Mermaid came up, there was a magnificent ship with 3 masts from which music and songs could be heard. Everyone on board was helping the prince celebrate his birthday. People were singing and dancing and setting off hundreds of fireworks.
Oh, how handsome! What a handsome prince!
It seemed to the Little Mermaid that the heavens were opening and all the stars in the sky were falling down on her. However, lightning suddenly flashed across the sky and a terrible storm broke out, and the Little Mermaid saw the prince sinking.
No, I won't let you die.
The Little Mermaid dragged the prince to the shore and hid herself behind a big rock. By and by, the prince came round and smiled at the girl who had come across him lying there. She helped the prince to his feet and led him away. The Little Mermaid dared not show herself, for it is very unwise for mermaids to show themselves to humans.
I saved his life, but he shall never know.
The Little Mermaid had always been quiet and thoughtful, but now she became even quieter than ever. However, her sister made her tell her what was the matter, and then found out from a friend where the prince lived.
Come on, sister, let's go.
The palace was made of white stone, with huge marble stairways, one of which led right down to the sea's edge.
Goodbye, Your Highness.
I see him. I see him. He's even more noble and handsome than I remember. Oh, sweet prince.
The palace stood right by the sea, and the Little Mermaid spent ages looking up at the window.
Hey, who's there?
But when he went to the window, she would be gone.
Can it really be that he will never know me?
The Little Mermaid began to like people more and more, and felt increasingly drawn to them.
I'm going to swim off and pay a visit to the sea witch. Perhaps she will be able to give me some advice.
The Little Mermaid swam till she got to the watery gates of the Sea Witch's grotto.
You are making a big mistake, I warn you. I can help you if you wish anyway, my sweet. But my price is your sweet mermaid's voice. And remember, there is no way back. You will never see your father or sisters again. And if the prince does not love you more than your father and mother and marries another, then you will die.
But the Little Mermaid had already drunk the witch's potion. The prince found her on the steps of the palace. The prince gently helped the Little Mermaid to her feet, took her by the arm, and led her into the palace. The Little Mermaid had appeared in the palace on the very day of the prince's wedding. He was about to marry the girl who had found him after the shipwreck.
You know, it was she who saved me from the shipwreck.
But the Little Mermaid was silent. She was unable to speak. The prince and the princess invited the Little Mermaid to join the wedding procession.
I'm so happy. Everything I have hoped for has come true.
The Little Mermaid's heart was ready to burst for love of the prince, and she also knew that the prince's marriage to the princess would kill her with the first rays of the dawn. The Little Mermaid stood at the prow of the ship and waited for her fate. All of a sudden, the Sea Witch appeared before her.
If you plunge this knife into the prince's heart before the break of day, then you will turn back into a mermaid. Be quick.
Oh no! Let him have his happiness.
When the first rays of the sun came up, the Little Mermaid threw herself into the water, but she did not die. she found herself surrounded by magical, transparent beings.
Who am I going to?
The prince and the princess looked into the water, almost sensing that the Little Mermaid had left them forever.
We, daughters of the air, do not have immortal souls, but we can earn them by good works. Now you too, Little Mermaid, have the chance to earn immortal souls and find the happiness your heart desires.
It was in those times of long, long ago, when sorcerers and witches still lived on the earth, when wood goblins played in the forest, and in the rivers and lakes there were water nymphs and water sprites. The land of Russia in those years was ruled by the brilliant Prince Vladimir the Sun, and there was no one on earth who was more beautiful than his daughter Lyudmila. But on the wedding day of Lyudmila and brave Prince Ruslan, a terrible thing happened. Lyudmila was kidnapped by the evil sorcerer Chernomor.
Where is my daughter? Where is Lyudmila? And you, Prince, could you not protect your wife? What is this? Hear me, all of you. Who of you is willing to ride off after my daughter? I will give you her as a wife if you can bring her home. Who will volunteer? I will.
And so will I.
Ruslan rode and came upon a cave in the forest. In this cave, a lonely old man had been living for ages.
Greetings, my son. I have been waiting for you for a long time. Sit down and listen to me. The sorcerer, Chernomor, has kidnapped Lyudmila. But know this, he will perish by your hand.
At the same time, valiant Farloff was eating his dinner in peaceful silence. Suddenly, he hears,
"It will be very difficult to find Lyudmila, but I will help you. And meanwhile, go to your village and live there without cares."
And what about Lyudmila? She was miserable in the luxurious castle of Chernomor. The wonderful gardens could not cheer her up, nor could magic birds, nor marvelous clothing, nor priceless gifts from her evil kidnapper.
Hear me, my beautiful one. Do not resist me. Become my wife, and I will grant you your wishes. For as long as my beard is safe and sound, everything is within my reach. Everything!
Ruslan galloped on both by day and by night, and all day and all night his rival, the fearless Rogday, rode his horse hard, intending to destroy Ruslan.
There will only be one of us left to live, Prince. Only the one who is truly worthy of the hand of Lyudmila.
Lyudmila continually wandered about the castle and grieved. Somehow, at one point, the idea came to her to put on the hat of Chernomor. And the hat was magical.
My, what is this?
Both by day and by night, Ruslan rode through the dense forests, through raging rivers, and still it seemed to him that his wedding day was only a dream. Young Rogmir had hoped to reach Lyudmila by evening. He rode out of the forest, and suddenly he sees before him the castle, and he hears from there a wondrous singing. The voice was so sweet and so tender that when he heard it, Rogmir forgot about the wife of Ruslan. At this same time, Ruslan was nearing the land of Chernomor, which were protected by a living head.
Where are you going, oh crazy one. Turn back and sing my praises that I did not eat you.
Oh, no you don't, you empty head. I guess you have never had to deal with a Russian prince.
Chernomor made up his mind to entice Lyudmila by trickery.
My dear, where are you?
Go to sleep for a while, my dear.
Hey, Chernomor. Come out and do battle honorably with me.
And as soon as Chernomor appeared, the prince grabbed him by his beard. For 3 days and 3 nights the sorcerer withstood him, but on the 4th night he begged for mercy.
Oh, I have no more strength, O knight. You've overcome me. Spare my life and I will grant you any wish.
Lyudmila, my beloved, finally I have found you. Wake up, my love.
But Lyudmila did not wake up, for the clever Chernomor had cast a spell on her. Ruslan put his wife on his steed, and they rode off on the journey home. And lo and behold, when half the trip was finished, our hero was overcome by sleep. Ah, but do you remember Farlaf? The old witch led him to the very place where Ruslan had fallen asleep.
And now kill him, and Lyudmila is yours.
For the witch was an old friend of Chernomor's. Farlaf brought Lyudmila home to the city of Kitez, but no one could awaken her. She did not hear the voice of her father, nor the clanging of tambourines, nor the songs of her loved ones. But the old man had long known what was to happen. He appeared to Ruslan, sprinkled living water on him, and lo and behold, our hero comes galloping into the city of Kitez. As soon as Ruslan came up to his wife, she opened her bright eyes.
Hello, Ruslan. Hello, dear father.
Sinbad the Sailor was a rich merchant of the city of Baghdad. He and his dear wife Budur lived a life of plenty. Sinbad liked listening to the stories of seafaring traders very much.
There are ships coming into port. Perhaps it's merchants with more tales to tell. Greetings, Sinbad. We have crossed many seas and many lands. Look what we have brought you. Look at that, a flying carpet. And I have brought you a sword of awesome power.
And I have brought you a genie, O Sinbad.
Master.
Sinbad saw the wondrous things these traveling merchants had brought him, and he decided he had to see the big wide world for himself. He bought a ship and packed it with his best goods, said goodbye to his wife Budur, and set sail for far-flung lands with his 2 friends, Ahmed and Hassan. There was a terrible storm, and they had to throw all the goods overboard to save the ship from sinking. The storm forced the ship to an island.
Does anyone know where we are? We don't know.
Nobody had ever seen an island shaped quite so like a fish before. Sinbad, Ahmed and Hassan went ashore. They had no idea what secrets and dangers this island held for them.
How beautiful.
Sinbad saw what looked like the roof of a small, round, white building at the top of the hill.
Perhaps this is where the master of this island lives. Let's go and see.
But this small house had neither windows nor doors.
What do you make of that? Looks like an egg.
And Sinbad struck the egg with his sharp sword. Suddenly, the egg began to crack, and a huge bird monster appeared. Our brave boys fought it off, and only escaped by the skin of their teeth. Sinbad, Ahmed, and Hassan scarcely had time to catch their breath before they were attacked by the braves of the hairy man tribe.
Hey! Watch out, Sinbad!
They kidnapped Ahmed and Hassan, but Sinbad held his ground and managed to escape. Sinbad went in search of his friends. He came across a cave.
Maybe Ahmed and Hassan are here.
But he had not noticed the net spread on the ground, and he was caught like a rat in a trap. Sinbad saw a monstrous spider.
A human for lunch.
But then, a second monster appeared. He also wanted a human for lunch.
He's mine. No, he's mine.
The second monster won. But Sinbad summoned all his courage and fought with such skill and such cunning that he managed to overcome the second monster and live to fight another day. Sinbad wandered in search of his friends. He was downhearted, but he did not give up. He fell into the largest footprint he had ever seen.
I hope I don't meet him.
But these were the footprints of Cyclops, the evil giant, and poor Sinbad wandered right into his lair. Cyclops was very pleased to see Sinbad and decided that he wanted to eat him too.
I'll never give up.
Sinbad kicked a pot of boiling water over the Cyclops' feet, scalding him terribly, and Sinbad ran for his life. The Cyclops chased Sinbad and soon caught him. Sinbad kept his head and jabbed the Cyclops in the eye with his trusty sword. And so it was that Sinbad dispatched the evil Cyclops. But new danger was awaiting our hero. He was ambushed in the forest by the braves of the hairy man tribe. The hairy man braves took Sinbad to a cave, threw him to the floor, and then crawled away backwards and out of sight. Sinbad saw before him a terrifying six-armed statue, which started to attack him.
What do you want from me?
I want to kill you.
It was a bloody battle, but at last Sinbad's strength and bravery won the day. No sooner was his evil foe defeated than a door opened, and out came Sinbad's friends, safe and sound. Sinbad and his friends found themselves in an ancient city where there was a stone idol and the most brilliant diamond. They did not know, however, that the diamond was charmed and guarded by a magic serpent, which could only be defeated by a true and noble heart of great bravery. And Sinbad was such a man, of course.
Sinbad, this diamond belongs to you by right.
The hairy man tribe thought Sinbad was a god, and they could not understand that he was only a man. The hairy man tribe threw a party for Sinbad and his friends. It did not last long because the island was really the king of the sea, which had been turned into an island by a witch. Sinbad had broken the spell by his bravery, and the island became the Sea King once more, and returned to the bottom of the sea with the hairy man tribe, who had once been his subjects. The friends swam to their ship, along with all their treasure. Sinbad returned to his city. People had given up hope of ever seeing him again, but his wife was still waiting for him.
Sweetheart, I have returned.
Oh, Sinbad, I've missed you so.
I've brought you a present.
The greatest present is to have you back, Sinbad.
And I will never leave again.
In a certain eastern town, there lived two brothers, Kasim and Ali Baba. Kasim was a rich trader, and his wife was the selfish, spiteful Fatima. Ali Baba was a poor but kind man, and his wife was the kind and wise Zainab. Kasim worked in the bazaar. When anyone bought anything from Kasim, he would count the money in a flash and stuff it in his pocket, then move it to one of his money boxes, which had very strong locks. Ali Baba was quite unlike his brother. In the morning, he would carry flat cakes which his wife had baked out of his house and give them to the poor.
Here you are, madam. Have a nice flat cake.
That's right.
Here you are, sir. Lovely, tasty flat cakes.
Could I have one?
There you are.
Oh, all gone, sir. Sorry.
Drat! Then he would go and look for some work. One day, Zainab asked him to fetch some brushwood.
Of course, my dear.
And so Ali Baba took his axe, untied his little donkey, and went in search of brushwood. Ali Baba found some brushwood by the foot of a great mountain. All of a sudden he heard voices. It was thieves. Their leader, Ataman, cried with a great voice,
"Open sesame!"
A door opened into the side of the mountain, and he went in. When the thieves had gone, Ali Baba crept up to the door and said the same magic words.
Open sesame!
And the door opened. Ali Baba entered the cave dragging his unwilling little donkey behind him.
Oh, goodness gracious me! Goodness gracious me! Look at all this gold!
There was everything you can think of. Great big sacks of gold, piles of diamonds and pearls, and silver cups studded with rubies, more than you can ever imagine.
Fill this sack with treasure from the cave. The arrow buttons on the keyboard will help you fit more in.
Ali Baba chose 2 big sacks of money and set off home.
Open sesame! Come on, donkey. Let's get out of here.
Ali Baba arrived home toward evening and told Zainab everything that had happened.
Oh, what good fortune! But you know, it's likely that those thieves will miss that money. So let's bury the gold for now, then weigh it up in the morning. And when we know how much we've got, we'll bury it again, somewhere else.
Ali Baba agreed with his wife, who was usually right, and in the morning he sent her round to Fatima for a measuring jug, which is used for measuring grain.
What could they be needing a measuring jug for?
And, grumbling away to herself, Fatima greased the bottom of the measuring jug with a little honey. When she got the measuring jug back, she found a gold coin stuck to the bottom. And as soon as her husband Kasim returned home from the bazaar, she sent him round to Ali Baba's house to investigate. Ali Baba took his brother to where he had got the money and said the magic words.
You open the door to the cave. Choose the right letters with the magic ring to make the password.
Open sesame!
And Kasim ran into the cave. But Ali Baba went on his way.
Gold! Gold! It's mine! All mine! Gold! Lovely gold! Lovely gold!
Help Kasim to get all the...
Pick up those bags! Don't forget the jug!
But in his rush, Kasim had forgotten the magic words, and while he was still trying to remember them, the door to the cave opened, and there stood Ataman and the 40 thieves, who were all very angry. They chased Kasim and killed him. Ataman, who had a simply atrocious temper, was more furious this time than any of the thieves could remember.
What is the world coming to when a man can't go out robbing without people stealing his treasure?
And he chose Hassan, his nastiest and sneakiest thief, to find out who had got into the cave.
2 bags of gold are missing!
Hassan went to the town where he asked the first inhabitant he met about Kasim. The man pointed Hassan towards the house of Kasim's brother, Ali Baba. Hassan chalked a cross by the door to mark the spot. But Zainab saw him, so she found some chalk herself and came out and marked all the gates in the whole street with little crosses. Hassan brought Ataman into town, but they could not find the house, so Ataman was very angry all over again. The following day, Ataman, the robber chief, came into the town again, and this time he did find Ali Baba's house. Ataman knocked on the door, and Ali Baba, who was a hospitable man, invited his guest inside.
You are very welcome in my house.
But not only did Ataman have a most unfortunate temper, he was also very sneaky. Much sneakier than Hassan. And he had not come alone. He had brought with him a whole string of donkeys carrying unusually big pots. He led his donkeys past Ali Baba, through the gate and into the courtyard. Ali Baba led his guest to the main room and made him a place on the carpet.
Go in and make yourself at home.
You are most kind.
Zainab brought things to eat.
Please, eat.
Then she danced the customary Eastern belly dance for their guest. Ataman liked her dancing very much and wished he had a wife too.
This man has a good appetite. I'll make him some more food.
Zainab went to the courtyard with a very big frying pan. She heard a strange noise coming from one of the large pots. A bandit started crawling out of it, so Zainab hit him with her frying pan. Then she hit all the other thieves with her frying pan too.
Help Zainab with the thieves.
Ataman himself came out to see what all the noise was about, so the fearless Zainab set about him as well.
This is how you repay our hospitality, you ungrateful guest.
And this was how the wise and brave Zainab outwitted Ataman the thief. And, as you have guessed, Ali Baba and Zainab lived happily ever after.
Our house is your house, dear guests.
Far, far away lies a wonderful land. In this land are 3 towns, Frivolton, Blockheadton, and the town where the old woodcarver Geppetto lived in his little house. In the very same town was the most wonderful theatre, which stood on the central square. In this theatre, the actors were not people, but puppets. On the very same square, there was a school, to which the children of the town went every day. And every day on their way to school, the children would run past the house of the old woodcarver. And every day Geppetto would sigh. He so wanted a child. One day, Geppetto had the most wonderful idea. Why don't I carve myself a boy out of wood? Why? He'll be as lively as a real boy and as obedient as a puppet. And with that, Geppetto set off for the shop, where he exchanged his only coat for a large book, so his boy might be able to go to school once he was made. As soon as he reached home, Geppetto took up his tools and began to carve a little wooden person. I'm gonna call him Pinocchio. In no time at all, there on the workbench stood a proper little boy, only his nose was a little too long. Well, your nosy can wait. What you need to do today is to get yourself to school on time. And with that, the woodcarver gave Pinocchio the book and pointed out the way to school. Pinocchio stepped out of Geppetto's little house and looked about in wonder.
First I'll learn to read, and then I'll learn to count. Then I'll earn lots of money and buy a fine coat for dear Papa. But that could take ages. No, I know. I'll go to the theatre and be an actor. Then I can buy 3 coats. Surely actors don't need to read or do sums anyway.
Help Pinocchio make the right decision. Place the magic ring where you think he ought to go. To school, the theatre, or the shop. Pinocchio got to the brightly coloured curtain which hung over the theatre entrance in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But things are never as simple as they seem, and he was stopped by an angry voice. "You've got to buy a ticket!" But Pinocchio kept his head. He handed over his book and received a ticket in exchange. Pinocchio was quite shocked to see puppet actors tied up.
Who dared tie you up like that?
And he jumped up onto the stage. "It was I, the master, the theatre manager, and you, I'm going to throw you on the fire." But Pinocchio turned out to be quite a good actor. So good, in fact, that the theatre manager not only did not throw Pinocchio on the fire, but he even gave him the money to buy Geppetto a new coat.
I'm going to run and buy a coat for Papa as quick as I can.
The shop was closed for lunch, so Pinocchio went for a wander instead. Pinocchio was too young to know that trouble is always lying in wait for boys who like to wander. He happened upon a fox who was lame in one leg, and a cat who was completely blind. They came up to him and invited him to have lunch with them at the Red Crab Tavern, as though they were old friends. On hearing, as they ate a tasty meal, about Pinocchio's dream of buying his father 3 coats, the cat and the fox told the boy about Blockheadton and a certain field there. One had simply to bury a few coins in this field and wait a mere 20 minutes for a whole tree to grow. Instead of leaves, the tree would be laden with the most wonderful coats, each one with shiny gold buttons. Pinocchio did not mind at all that it was he who had to pay for the meal. He thought to himself,
should I really be in such a rush to get to the shop just to buy 1 coat, when if I wait till evening, I could give dear Papa 1,000 new coats?
His new friends, the cat and the fox, showed Pinocchio the road to Blockheadton, and after a respectful farewell, departed. You have guessed, of course, that the cat and the fox were not kind-hearted fellows at all, but real live robbers.
Let's lie in wait here.
Yes, it's as good a place as any. They waited for nightfall, then tracked the careless Pinocchio as he made his way along the road before they attacked. Pinocchio was a strong boy, and he kicked wildly with his sturdy wooden legs and hid the money in his mouth. Nevertheless, the robbers managed to hang him upside down on the branch of a tree.
You'll have to open his mouth sooner or later, and the money will be ours.
With that, they left. But Pinocchio did not give in. He managed to free first one leg and then the other, and made his escape. He wandered listlessly in search of help and sympathy, and found himself at the house of a fairy with light blue hair, who simply adored helping little boys get well. There were pills and castor oil and confinement to bed. Our hero made a speedy recovery when he heard that there was even a chance of injections. So now you know just how difficult Pinocchio's journey was to that field of promised miracles on the edge of Blockheadton. Pinocchio carefully dug a hole and put all the money he had received from the theatre manager into it.
I really ought to water it so it will grow great big coats and not little ones.
And so he set off to fetch water. One need hardly say what happened once he left. Pinocchio was very surprised to see his old friends in Blockheadton, and was even more surprised when they started yelling at the top of their voices, "Stop, thief!" And then they called the police. We should not forget to mention that all the boys and girls in that country, who just took themselves off to wander about whenever they felt like it, were taken to school in a police cart. Then they were ordered to do their lessons. This is what happened to Pinocchio. He was dumped in front of the school and was about to go in when he met a boy called Wick.
Forget it. Let's get the wagon to Frivelton. You can win 1,000 coats there as easy as pie. And if you're lucky, even 10,000 coats. 10,000 coats? Caw!
The wagon was already full of boys. It was packed with them, like sardines packed in a tin. But nobody complained or grumbled. The boys were so gloriously happy to be going to a town where there were no books, no schools, and no teachers, that they could only smile. Frivolton was like no other town in the world. It was populated only by children. They played conkers, marbles, and football. They rode their bicycles, pranced on their hobby horses, and played blind man's buff. They chased each other, they sang, and turned somersaults. They walked on their hands, and they clapped, and whistled, and laughed. Pinocchio flew straight into an amusement arcade with lots of gaming machines. And straight away, a whole stream of gold coins fell right into his hands. He turned round to show Wick, but Wick had turned into a donkey. Pinocchio felt Donkey's ears growing out of his head too. Pinocchio fled to the seashore to get as far away as he could from the strange town where boys who forget themselves and live only for entertainment are turned into little donkeys. Coincidences such as this are probably only to be found in fairy tales. But there, on a raft, was Geppetto the woodcarver. He had given up waiting for his boy and had gone looking for him. But the most terrible thing occurred. A huge shark, after sleeping for many, many years, yawned a long and delicious yawn, which swept father and son down into its belly.
Papa Geppetto, I got the money for a new coat for you.
Pinocchio! I found your book by the school. I would rather freeze for a lack of a coat than have a son with a donkey's ears. I don't know whether you would have been strong enough to leave those gold coins behind, but that is exactly what Pinocchio did.
I'm still going to get a coat for my dear Papa. The only right thing to do is exchange the book for a coat for Papa.
Pinocchio knocked on the door, but the shopkeeper did not want his book. Pinocchio began to cry, but through his tears he saw the kind face of his dear Papa Geppetto. My dear good Pinocchio, this book is called The Little Master Craftsman, and if you read it, you will learn how to make 1,000 of the most wonderful coats. Very soon, everyone in the town had received a new coat from Pinocchio. Nobody laughed at Pinocchio for being a wooden person, no. He was respectfully known by all as our master craftsman.
Once upon a time, there lived a woodcutter. His wife died, and he was left all alone with his daughter. His new wife had 2 daughters of her own, who were ugly and lazy, just like her. They took an immediate dislike to the woodcutter's daughter. In a castle not far away lived a prince. All the girls of the land would sit and dream of marrying the prince and becoming princesses. One day, the prince decided to hold a ball, and he invited absolutely everyone, and especially the girls. The woodcutter's daughter was very hard-working and honest. She would get up early and work till dark, and there was always so much to do because her stepsisters were very lazy. She was known to all as Cinderella because, after doing all her work around the house, she would sit in the corner next to the hearth on the box where the cinders from the fire were put. The sisters had woken up late, as usual, and were sitting in their room, discussing which dress to wear to the ball.
Well, I'm going to wear my rose-colored dress, I think. The prince will simply fall head over heels in love with me.
Just you wait! When he sees me in my blue dress, he won't even give you a second glance.
The stepmother was also sitting in her room, doing what she liked doing best, counting money and complaining about her health.
Money for this, money for that, it's an outrage. How much can one ball cost?
At last, the evening arrived, and the stepmother and her daughters were getting ready to set off for the royal palace. Poor Cinderella implored her to let her have just one peek at the ball and the prince, but they just laughed at her. This was all seen by a kind fairy who decided to help Cinderella. Cinderella went back into the house in tears.
Oh, what wouldn't I give to go to the ball?
Then a miracle took place, and the good fairy appeared.
But you shall go to the ball, Cinderella.
She turned a rat into a coachman, and Cinderella's old dress into a wonderful ball gown. Instead of her wooden clogs, in her hands appeared 2 beautiful glass slippers.
But remember, you must be home before the clock strikes 12. For at the 12th stroke, everything will be turned back again.
The prince, who had become supremely bored with the ball, was talking with his old friend, the sergeant of the palace guard. Suddenly, they heard the tinkle of silver bells, and a magnificent coach went past.
I shall just go and have a look at the new arrival.
The prince looked as the most beautiful girl he had ever seen stepped out of the coach.
She must be a princess from a nearby kingdom.
The prince never once left Cinderella's side the entire evening. It was clear that he was falling in love, but the clock ticked closer and closer to midnight, and Cinderella had completely forgotten the words of the good fairy. She only remembered when the clock began to strike that she had to get home as quick as she could. Cinderella ran about the palace, looking for a way out, and found herself in the royal kitchen. With each stroke of the clock, less and less of her wonderful clothes remained. She tripped and lost one of her glass shoes. The prince picked up the shoe and tried to catch up with Cinderella, but she was already gone. The prince announced that whomsoever the shoe fitted would be his bride. A crowd of girls arrived, pushing and shoving to try on the shoe. The stepmother was in the midst of it with her daughters.
It will fit. I'm sure it will if I just push.
The old king had no idea about the ball. He had just been sitting on his throne, worrying about affairs of state, thinking what color to decorate the armory, and coming down every now and then for some more royal cake. Oh ho ho!
Oh!
What a beautiful girl!
Where am I?
On hearing the noise from the throne room, the prince ran in with the glass slipper, followed by the raging stepmother and the ugly sisters. The prince recognized Cinderella straight away, of course. He placed the slipper on her dainty little foot, and in no time, chimes were ringing out, announcing the royal marriage.
There were once 25 tin soldiers who were all brothers, for they had been made out of the same old tin spoon. The soldiers were all exactly alike, excepting one who had only one leg. He had been left to the last, and then there was not enough of the melted tin to finish him, so they made him to stand firmly on one leg. And this caused him to be very remarkable.
Ooh, tin soldiers!
The table on which the tin soldiers stood was covered with other toys.
What a wonderful present!
The most attractive to the eye was a pretty little castle. Through its small windows, the rooms could be seen. In front of the castle, there was a piece of looking glass which was intended to represent a lake. Gray swans swam on the lake. A tiny little lady stood at the open door of the castle. She was a dancer and stretched out both her arms and raised one of her legs so high that the tin soldier could not see it at all. That's why he thought that she was just like him.
She has to become my wife, but she is too grand and lives in a castle, while I have only a box to live in.
When evening came, parents and children went to bed. Then the toys began to have their own life. To play together and to give balls. It was so fun. The nutcrackers played at leapfrog, and the pencil jumped about the blackboard. There was such a noise that even the canary woke up and began to talk. Only the tin soldier and the dancer remained in their places. She stood on tiptoe with her legs stretched out as firmly as he did on his one leg. He was unable to look somewhere else for even a moment. The clock struck 12. The lid of the snuff box sprang up, but instead of snuff, there jumped up a little black goblin.
Tin soldier, do not expect for what that doesn't belong to you.
But the tin soldier pretended not to hear.
Well, very well. Let's wait for tomorrow.
When the children came in the next morning, they placed the tin soldier in front of the window. Now, whether it was the goblin who did it or not is not known, but the window flew open and out fell the tin soldier into the street beneath. Though it was raining, the little boy went downstairs directly to look for his tin soldier, but he was nowhere to be seen. Presently, the drops fell faster and faster, and the boy ran away. But two boys happened to pass by.
Hey, look at this.
We ought to have a boat to sail in.
Our guys made a boat out of a newspaper and placed the tin soldier in it and sent him sailing down the canal. Wow! What large waves arose in that canal! The paper boat rocked up and down.
Have you a passport?
Asked the rat.
Give it to me at once.
The boat sailed on, and the rat followed it. He did gnash his teeth and cried out,
Stop him! Stop him! He has not paid toll, and I didn't look at his pass!
The boat whirled round 3 or 4 times and then filled with water to the very edge. The soldier sank into the water and immediately afterwards was swallowed up by a big fish. The fish had been caught, taken to the market, and sold to the cook, who took him into the kitchen and cut him open with a large knife.
Hi-ho! What's that?
They were all anxious to see this great soldier who had traveled about in a fish, but he was not at all proud. How many curious things in this world! There he was in the very same room. There were the very same toys, and the pretty castle with the elegant little dancer at the door. Suddenly, one of the little boys took up the tin soldier and threw him into the stove. It must have been the fault of the black goblin. The flames lighted up the tin soldier, but still he remained firm with his gun on his shoulder. Suddenly, the door flew open, and the draft of air caught up the little dancer. She fluttered like a sylph right into the stove by the side of the tin soldier, and was instantly in flames, and was gone. The tin soldier melted down into a lump. The next morning, the cook took the ashes out of the stove.
What's this?
She found a little tin heart and a tinsel rose, which was burnt black as a cinder.